Hi, this is Edgar,
and Monika from hopkiwi.com.
and today we're going to be talking about.
What city to choose or what town to choose if you are thinking of permanent residency in Australia.
Okay, first of all, I think a lot of people, when are planning to come to Australia, they think straight away in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane.
Yeah.
I know it's tempting to come to Australia and be living in those big cities, especially because the agencies tend to say that there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of jobs, and yes, that's true. However, I think the competition is really big there.
Yeah, that's true. So if you're gonna go to a big city, yeah, definitely there's lots of entertainment and stuff to do, but there is a big competition because literally everyone goes to Melbourne, Sydney as a first choice. Because yeah, like Edgar said, lots of agencies are pushing for big cities, big famous universities when you're gonna pay lots of money. But yeah, the competition is massive. So that would be the first thing, just avoid big cities. Not only because of competition and cost of living, but as well because of the government regulations. So how does it work with the government?
Well, basically, there's a lot of population in those big cities, like 5 million in Melbourne, same or probably even more in Sydney. So there's a lot of traffic and a lot of problems with the infrastructure. They are not meant to have that amount of population. So the government is pushing the people out of those big cities to the rural Australia. Perth, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Darwin, Adelaide, Cairns, all that region is considered rural Australia. Rural Australia is being the best, like in terms of affordability. The housing is easier to find accommodation. There's not a lot of competition.
Yeah, but in terms of visa and permanent residency, why regional Australia is your best choice? First, if you're coming here on the student visa, if you're in regional, if you're studying in regional, then you can get additional years to your postgraduate visa. Depending how long you've been studying, then you can extend your visa for like the same amount of time. So that's really good. If you are in the cities, well, you still can extend it, but then you're not getting that additional year that you can get when you study in regional. So that's important because when you are applying for permanent residency, you need to show years of experience in your field. And that way you are getting that additional years that you can then show that you've been working here, you've been studying, and that's really important.
There was the opportunity to move here to Gold Coast, beautiful Gold Coast, I have to say, it's beautiful. And yeah, we have the opportunity to extend our visa. So at the end, instead of having 4 years of visa, we're gonna have like 6. And it's really important for you to accumulate all that experience if you are really planning to stay here in Australia.
Yeah, so that's another thing, the years that you can get here. And another benefit is that when you are applying for permanent residency, lots of visas, they have this restriction on your basically location. So they're gonna ask you, where do you live? Do you live in Melbourne? Do you live in Sydney? Or do you live in Gold Coast or Perth? So, and then you're getting more points if you live actually in regional Australia. As well, there's more visas for people who live in regional Australia. So you will see when you go to the government website that there are visas that are called regional sponsor visa or regional nomination visa. Those visas are specifically designed for people who live in regional Australia. So that's another plus that you can get when you live in regional.
That's our best advice. Think really what city you want to go and go for it. But thinking about all these points that we are saying, regional Australia is better for affordability. everything basically. You have everything more easy here in regional than in Melbourne, at least from our experience.
Yes. And hey, regional doesn't mean that it has to be boring.
Yeah. or ugly or poor, no? Like in my country where I'm from Mexico. So when people say about rural zones of Mexico, people live not like in here in Australia, right? That over there is like people with horses or big farms areas, but yeah, nothing. Here is really like a city. You are not missing anything. You have malls, you have cinemas, you have everything.
Yeah, so that's important. Don't think about regional like it would be just a village with animals and farms. The regional Australia are actually big cities. Literally Gold Coast is over 500,000 people. Perth is 2 million people, and Perth is still considered regional.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you are afraid of small cities, you can go to Perth, and Perth is actually a proper big city with all the infrastructure, theaters, museums, cinemas, beautiful beaches. So that's the option. But yeah, there's lots of beautiful places that you can.
And here in the Gold Coast or in Sunshine Coast, you have Brisbane like 1 hour and a half, something like that, and there's 2 million people there. So they're still big. A lot of people are around. No, a lot of people from here works in Brisbane, and a lot of people from Brisbane works in the Gold Coast.
Yeah. Okay, so I think to sum up, the most important points: just avoid big cities.
Yeah.
And go to regional Australia if you really want to stay. If you really want to stay for permanent residency.
And with the agencies, be careful. Understand that they are getting commission.
Yeah.
For enrolling you to the most expensive universities or courses. There's a lot of universities here in Australia that have the same course for way less money, and at the end of the day, when you go to apply for a job, they don't really check from what university you are. They just want to see that you are capable of doing the job.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's important. Okay, guys, so thank you for watching, and if you like it, you know, thumbs up, and see you in next video. In next video we're gonna give you more tips on permanent residencies and visas and how to apply, where to stay, and you know how the life is in Australia. So if you have any questions as well, leave a comment below.
Yep.
And see you next time.
Thank you.